and give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Madam President. At the outset, I would like to thank Judge Gracilia Gatti Santana, President of the International Residual Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals, namely ICTR and ICTY. I thank her for her comprehensive presentation of the biannual progress report that covers the activities of the mechanism from the period 16 November 2024 to the 15th of May 2025, pursuant to Resolution 1966 of 2010, adopted by the Security Council. I would also like to thank Mr. Serge Pramertz, prosecutor of the mechanism, for the presentation submitted today in accordance with paragraph 10 of said resolution. I would also like to welcome the presence of the representatives of Rwanda, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Croatia to this meeting. My delegation takes note of the progress made during the reporting period, whether in the area of the enforcement of sentences, the protection of witnesses, or assistance provided to national jurisdictions. We also note the effort made by the mechanism and the president of the mechanism to streamline resources and reduce the size of the mechanism. Madam President, we would like to reiterate that the establishment of this mechanism from day one was of an exceptional and transitional character, and that Resolution 1966 of 2010 stressed that it should be small, temporary and efficient structure for residual functions whose functions and size should diminish over time, in accordance with specific and reasonable timelines. Today, after more than a decade since its establishment and with core cases coming to term, we think that the conditions are conducive to transition towards the final and last stage of the functions of the mechanism in a responsible manner, namely the gradual and orderly closure of the mechanism. In this regard, Algeria stresses the following points. 1. The need to respect a main principle of international law, namely the inherent jurisdiction of states to try crimes committed on their territory or by their citizens, which reflects the principle of sovereignty as enshrined by the UN Charter. 2. Stressing that universal jurisdiction cannot be a substitute to national jurisdiction. Instead, it should be complementary and reinforce it in cases of inability or substantive reasons within the framework of clear requests and voluntary cooperation. 3. Promoting the principle of complementarity with national jurisdiction systems through supporting the state's abilities to try international serious crimes punishable under international law as part of national jurisdiction. 4. The need for the mechanism to intensify effort to conclude residual functions as soon as possible in coordination with the Secretariat without prejudice to due process, and supporting the transfer of residual functions, including monitoring the enforcement of sentences, providing assistance to national judiciary and jurisdiction, archive management, and cooperation with affected states to establish information and documentation centers as set forth in Security Council Resolution 2740 of 2024. 5. Stressing that cooperation with the mechanism needs to remain governed by international law and the principle of state consent, without imposing judiciary arrangements that are not accepted by the concerned affected states. 6. Ensuring continued access to international justice archives through maintaining the archives of the ICTY and ICTR and providing access to concerned authorities in affected states. This would maintain collective memory for the benefit of future generations and combat impunity and address attempts to deny serious crimes or glorify perpetrators. In closing, Algeria, based on its principled commitment to the principles of justice, accountability, and combating impunity, stressed that mutual respect and complementarity between international mechanisms and national jurisdictions are a basis for justice and the rule of law at the international and national levels. We believe that concluding the functions of the mechanism in a coordinated orderly and transparent framework is part of this track. We will remain committed to working with all members of the Council to support this period of transition. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for the statement.